It's awesome we finally got Nocturne ported to modern consoles. I've been dying to play the remaster for myself, and making a review of this would be super cool. Let's hope I can beat this quickly so that the video comes out timely in this wonderful month of May. It'd be a shame if anything were to happen. Please just make a Switch Pro already, I'm begging you. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is an incredibly interesting game, to put it lightly. This game is the definition of a cult classic, and with this new remaster having finally been released, a whole new audience gets to cry while fighting Matador. Before playing Nocturne HD, the only mainline SMT game I'd played to completion was Strange Journey on the DS, not the bad one, which I did enjoy, but I'd been craving a deep dive into a more traditional example of the series for a while. Listen, I'm a Persona baby, I've been milking that series for content almost as much as Atlas has, so this was inevitable. Light spoilers for Nocturne, though this is a PS2 game and this video is releasing 2 months late, and this is a very different kind of review from what I normally do, so basically shut up and enjoy the ride. This game is rad and I'm gonna show it to you. On that note, I'm inclined to mention that I was actually sent an early review copy by Atlas West, so I couldn't thank them more for that, though I'm sorry this took so long to put out. For the unaware of you all, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Steam is the remaster of the third SMT game. Boy, what a shocker. In all seriousness, Nocturne was the series' first major leap into 3D. Megaten games having mostly just sat in the realm of flat visual novels and first-person dungeon crawlers. Unless you want to count Jack Bros or something, The scope was grander, the storytelling was more cinematic and ambitious, the plot was just as weird and crazy, but this time you're wearing shorts and sneakers? Bruh. I'm telling you, with a fit like that, avoiding the apocalypse is a must. With all these factors in mind for the game, we have to ask, did it live up to the expectations of its initial audience, and does it still hold up? Yeah, no duh, it's SMT Nocturne. What, you think I'm gonna be some contrarian and say the game has aged like an equals 3 video? No, this is still a solid JRPG. Not perfect, and a noticeable handful of those imperfections happen to be a result of the remaster, but it's an overall worthwhile experience through and through. Jumping right in, our protagonist has a wet dream about his school teacher, who makes fun of him for never writing his name on his tests. With a twink like this, you know he has a thing for humiliation. This has us typing in our name, and there are a few options if you're looking for a canon name for our fiendish protag. I personally went with the name Naoki Kashima from the audio drama because I thought it sounded neat. Our boy has the standard tutorial affair of meeting up with his friends at a hospital, meeting a weird journalist at a park, and watching the world implode. Oh no. So the actual game begins from here. A little boy dropped a slug into my throat without my consent, and I didn't like that very much, so now our goal is to hunt down that little troglodyte and shove him off the swing set. Or I guess his wheelchair. He's old sometimes, I don't know. I'm gonna bully him, okay? Our protagonist has become the Demi-Fiend, a cool neon, half-demon, half-jorts-wearing nerd with the power to punch people in the face like he's doing the cha-cha slide. This seems like a good time to mention the battle animations, as this initially caught me off guard and was like the worst first impression for this game's style. To clarify, I like this game's animations a lot, don't run screaming yet. Like I said before, I'm a spoiled little Persona baby, so my brain tricked itself into expecting some more fluid combat animation from the get-go. Obviously, it's an early 2000s title, but I just find it funny that in a game that does have really good battle animations, I must make that clear. Demi-Fiend's basic punch seemed so goofy when I first saw it. I did quickly get used to it though, and ignored its casual lack of friction. On the note of the combat, however, for anyone who hasn't played a Shin Megami Tensei game before, this is where I introduce you to Press Turn. The battle system that's so simple in concept, but so brilliant. Look, you see this little nerd right here? If I hit their weakness, I get more turns. And if they hit my weakness, I die. The pattern of stacking buffs and debuffs, as well as teaming up with different demon allies that you recruit through bribery, both help add tons of depth to how battles can play out, which goes to show why this series has hooked so many fans of turn-based battles. Just a quick little note, I actually had to re-record some footage of the game, so I switched it to Merciful to speed up that process. If you see any stupidly high damage numbers, that's why. But on that note, what is Merciful? Simple. It's the insta-win baby mode added specifically for the HD remaster. Now, I don't judge anyone for playing with this difficulty, genuinely. I feel like there's way more value to this game than just the challenging battles, but it is pretty easy. Anywho, our little experimentation with the battle system eventually gets us out of the hospital, and oh gosh, they broke Earth. Now, here's a little aside for anyone who hasn't played an SMT game, especially those who have only played Persona. Now, are most of these games as heavy on the plot as other JRPGs? Not really. But are the stories bad? No, this game's plot is a banger! I'll keep the details mostly vague in case you actually want to jump into this experience, which I recommend highly, but basically the world as we know it is destroyed at the start of the game, with an aspect of God known as Kagutsuchi claiming that anyone with a strong enough reason, capital R, can use their philosophy on life to reconstruct the world however they see fit. There are a few major reasons, each leader of their movement being pretty compelling as they morph and change throughout the game, with you choosing to either be their greatest ally or their biggest obstacle. This game is cool. It's also one of the few multi-path games that doesn't really have a canon ending, meaning that whatever you choose to do, your experience isn't necessarily going to feel lesser. The route you choose will be satisfying in the way that you want the story to progress. The Demi-Fiend doesn't get a reason of his own, only being a prophesied messiah meant to sway the existing reasons toward either success or failure. But my goal is still to beat up Satanic Benjamin Button, so we'll just say that's my reason. On the topic of all these characters in the story though, I definitely feel like it's important to note the one major reason, lowercase r, why I love this remaster, which is that the voice acting is, like, really good at times. At least in terms of the main characters, whether it be Hikawa, Hijiri, Thor my beloved, it's just handled really well across the board. Can I also mention that every single environment in this game is beyond memorable? I swear, out of all the Atlas RPGs I've played other than P5, this is the one where I best feel I can vividly remember every place I've visited, and have actually enjoyed exploring all those areas throughout. There are the insane halls of the Amalan Network, the mannequin caves, that stupid prison I got lost in for like an hour and a half because I'm stupid. It's an incredibly gorgeous game, and the HD textures of the remaster just help amplify it a little bit more. Enough stalling though, I've gushed enough about these things, but where's the real selling point of— oh my gosh, it's Dante from DMC2?